This is Michaela McLean, and you're listening to Beauty by Design. Hey there, welcome back. Thanks for being here. We are already moving on to another gate 52. We're fully in Cancer season, so we're going to talk all about that. But before we get into it, I'm going to tell you all the things that are going on. I have a brand new yoga nidra out, released on the summer solstice. This has been what I've been sitting on for way too long, an energy cleanse. And it just felt like, you know what, it's time to put one out. I actually have plans for quite a big yoga nidra project, but I thought, you know what, we're going to push that back a little bit. Just everything with Vegas and some other trips and projects going on. I was like, it's too much too quickly. So this yoga nidra is an energy cleanse, and it takes you through all 9 of the human design energy centers. And it's basically a cleanse and recalibration so that you're feeling good. And I was like, wow, isn't this perfect? I'll release this one before Vegas, because I'm like, I'm going to Vegas. And that's a lot for me. I was I was starting to laugh too hard. I'm pre-recording this before going on this trip, because I need this podcast for the line one day, which is Sunday. I'll still be there. So basically, my good friend Kenzie Skin, we're talking, and we're always voice noting each other silly stuff. And she tells me that her and her now husband, hey Jack, they got a Costco membership. And she was like, oh, we just feel so good, feel grown up, all of this stuff. And I laughed because I was like, I can't handle Costco. And even there was some writing found from me, my mom found from when I was a kid, grade school, who knows, some sort of, little thing. And it was like, what don't you like? And it was like going to Costco. So it's very overwhelming for me. I can't handle it. I can't even handle the parking lot, let alone like being in the store. It's a whole thing, right? And that way my whole life. And I'm laughing. And I'm saying to her, I'm like complaining about Costco. And then I'm like, and I'm about to go to Las Vegas. So like, if that tells you anything about me, I have 7 undefined centers. Okay. I have 1 channel. I got a lot of sensitivity in my chart. Point being, right? I had to tell you the funny story, but point being is that I thought it was perfect timing to release this. I'm like, I personally am going to need this and use this while I'm down there. Already had another friend. I don't think he'll mind. Josh, Agent RX, he was like, girl, I need something. And I said, guess what? New Nidra coming out tomorrow. Let me send it to you. You can preview it. So I was like, we're all gonna be on this energy cleanse Nidra train for this trip, because it's a lot. It's a lot to take in other people. And so actually, while we're on that subject, kind of the point with this is, number one, I'm going to be talking a lot about Nidra in my lecture down there. As you know, I mean, it's a huge part of my work, and all the science behind it, the really cool science of like how it supports you, uh, physically, not just like energetically. It's like, no, this actually is very anti-aging. It's really, really cool. If you check out my website, I have a little bit of the details on there, but like, it takes your brain into delta waves and what that does and the hormones that it produces, the anti-aging hormones. So cool. But from the human design perspective, it's like wherever you have white shapes, those are either open and or undefined centers. Again, a little bit more detail there, but it's like if they're white, even if they have colored gates coming off of them, those are places that you take on and amplify energy around you. So clearly, like if you're like me, 7, it's like that's a lot of potential of kind of absorbing other people's stuff. So it's really important that you realize, number one, those are places that I almost wanted to say struggle, but just like you're just feeling it. You're feeling a lot of everybody else. And so it's kind of like you need to go clean the filter out, each day. So yoga nidra is a really beautiful practice to have in your life to basically do that and to reset and recalibrate. Kind of side note, a couple of my friends, Ash Austin, Magdalena Ash, and then Alex Sands of Skincraft, the energetic facialist, I know they've had this one for ages and love it. And Alex specifically, she uses it every single night. She does so much energy work in all of her facials, right? I mean, that's a huge piece of her practice. And she's like, oh yeah, that's the one I go to bed every single night. So I was like, that's a huge endorsement. It's like you're somebody who very conscientiously works with it. Can you imagine if you don't and you're always interacting? Whenever we're around other people, we are engaging, we're exchanging energy with their aura. So again, we don't want to not be around people. We just want to have that healthy understanding and ability to cleanse and reset. So that's what this nidra is about. So it's about half an hour long, $22 like the other ones. You can take it into and play it in your treatment room. You can be like me. I go to bed to one every single night and have for years. Like laugh. I lull them. I listen to the sound of my own voice going to bed every night. But I know for a fact that this has been the huge thing that's helped me reprogram so much in my life. So anyway, point being, new one's out. I'll keep talking about it, but this is kind of, this is the first time I'm saying anything about there being a new release. So there's that. Like I said, when you're hearing this, if you're hearing this on the line one day, which will be Sunday, I am in Vegas. I am lecturing that day at Golden Experience Guide. Super excited, had other meetings and things going on this week, invited to other parties. I'm like, y'all, I am a mom who wears athleisure and, just a messy bun and no makeup pretty much all the time. And so I'm like, woof, I'm not a drinker, none of that. I'm like, this is going to be a lot, but I'm excited. I'm super excited to go down and just, get to kind of like be immersed in everything, over the weekend. So wish me luck, or retrospectively wish me luck when you're hearing this. What else? Oh, Little Fox. I can say this now because again, the time will have already passed. Succulent pudding, brand new product is out. I've had it for a while and loving it. It's essentially a pudding, a cream for super sensitive skin. It's an oceanic peptide complex. Beautiful, beautiful green color with the matcha. It's just sea anemone. Like there's so many cool elements and aspects to this. So if you are on the Little Fox train, and if you're not, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but if you are, make sure that you go check that out. It is not the only one of the new things that are rapidly arriving to the brand. I will say that much. But we're going to be going, Alexis and I, on a trip to Beauty Heroes mid-July. I'm like, the details came through again. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because, again, I'm pre-recording this. So check my Instagram at Michaela McLean, and I'm sure there'll be more details by the time you hear this, but cool things coming. Of course, my free guide, $11 master classes, my Golden Experience Guide course, your energetic marketing guide, Soloist Edition Love Academy. If you want to do the very interactive membership thing with me, I think that's going to be so fun. That should be dropping the 26th tomorrow. Again, if you're listening to this in real time. So, and then of course, Aesthetic Next. That's like the biggie. Teaching the workshop. So excited. You can use my code McLean, as in my last name, McLean 50 for a discount off your ticket if you haven't purchased yet. But hang tight. I'm going to get my act together and I'm going to do a little giveaway for a ticket. So again, if you're listening to this in real time, hold tight. Probably by the next episode, I will be ready. I will be ready. There's just a lot going on. Okay. Anyway, can you tell I'm a little bit jacked up? I'm getting excited about this trip. So links in the show notes, in the Instagram bio at Michaela McLean. Hop on over there. Give me a follow. That's where I do the posts each week as well to kind of translate this energy for your aesthetics treatment room. All right, let's get on to the episode. As my reminder and disclaimer, every time we talk about a gate, don't try to understand this at the mental level. Just let the sound current, the energy, and the frequency of beauty sink into your cells like good skincare. Again, we're Bob Rossing it over here. Okay, gate 52. Like I said, we are officially in Cancer season, and gate 52 is located in the root center, and it's part of the collective logic or understanding circuitry. This is the more yang, cool headed, planning, and future focused side of the chart. It likes the repeatable patterns you can experiment with to prove it's the logical left brain, all about refinement and alignment on this side of the collective circuitry versus the other side, the creative experiential flow of the collective abstract sensing. So starting with the center, the root itself, it's both a pressure and a motor center. It pushes us to do and provides the adrenaline to carry out the action. Energy enters the root and then moves around the body graph to the awareness centers, and ultimately, of course, is trying to make it to the throat, like all energy, to be expressed out. But the root is definitely a place where it enters. Okay, so gate 52 is known as keeping still. It's the mountain. It's the gate of stillness. It's the gate of inaction. And it's temporary and self-imposed inaction for the benefit of assessment. And the keynote with this one is the pressure to focus your energy to concentrate. So this is all about right timing. The root is a motor center, as I already mentioned, motor and pressure. But being a motor, the way that its energy works is it pulses on and then it pulses off. So it's not like always there. It's waiting, you know what I mean? It's waiting for the right timing. That's going to be key as we go through this one. So it's stillness, focus, self-discipline, contemplation, perspective. It's the mountain. That is one of this is its I Ching name. It's like it's a fixed and immovable object. So it's very much you must concentrate, right? This is considered the meditation gate. It is about stillness. So with this one, the low expression is that it can be antsy, not necessarily knowing what to focus and concentrate on. And it can also cause a bit of depression because of that, right? Basically knowing that you've got this power, this incredible root power, but no idea what to use it for or on. In the gene keys, it's called the still point. And the shadow of this gate is stress, right? The root is I say pressure, but it's also stressy center. This energy coming from that area provides the pressure to get moving. So it's like if you don't, you have this bodily pressure that's like, I need to get moving, but you don't know on, like what to use that on, that can cause some issues, right? So it can also show up a couple different ways, like as basically being stuck, feeling stuck and stagnant again, right? Just, I really don't know where to go with this. Like I said, you just can't get up and get moving. So that sometimes people tend to give up, or it's restless. It's busy and burnt out on all the wrong things, or just kind of lazy laying around on the couch, Sometimes this one has a bit of a nickname of like the couch potato gate too. But the high expression with this is essentially it's the only way to relieve the pressure is to realize your response informs your focus. It informs your concentration. I'm like, respondez-vous, s'il vous plaît. Respond to what you deeply connect with and are willing to put the energy into perfecting over time. It's like hang out, be still, just wait until the right thing crosses your path. And until then, gather up or call back all of your life force, like fortify, yourself internally. Just gather it up. Sit still, wait to act. Don't be distracted with pointless stuff, just stillness, right? It's called the Buddha gate. Wait for the opportunity, whatever that is, to present itself, and you'll know it's correct. It's like you're going to know when it shows up. But until then, don't go wasting your energy on stuff that really truly doesn't matter. When it's correct, it's like then the mastery, the focus, the concentration, it's going to be there. And it will all come over time, essentially. Like it shows up, you're like, okay, this is what's moving me into action because I know it's correct for me. And then you rinse and repeat. This is coming from that collective logic circuitry. So it's like fix your gaze then on what you know is for you. In yoga, it's called your drishti. It's like, all right, I find my point and this is it. And then I'm making slow, steady, incremental progress. Again, being from that logical circuitry, it's about perfecting and one step in front of the other. Just slow, incremental, keep going, keep refining and aligning. Okay, and the gene keys, the shadow of this one is stress, the gift is restraint, and the city is stillness. And I love what Richard Rudd says in the 64 Ways. He said, the 50-second gift of restraint is such a great gift. And even though it sounds so unexciting, it's one of the most powerful. If we have the 50-second gene key in our profile, we are blessed. We have the capacity to slow down time and bring others out of stress. What a lucrative life we can lead in this day and age. The 50-second gift is about the art of focus. These people are only really interested in the long-term view. That's why they know to take their time. Everything in the universe has its natural rhythm and timing, its seasons, ebbs, swells, dips, and flows. The genius of the 50-second gift is to align oneself with such cosmic timing, which will gradually bring others into alignment with their natural timing. When we meet someone living out of this gift, we're meeting someone whose breath is rooted deeply inside their bodies. They're really like great anchors. They're so grounded. That's why this gift is called the gift of restraint. An anchor allows an organism to rest, come to a natural pause, and regain perspective, clarity, and above all, timing. This gift has a huge impact on the emotional body. It communicates and exudes calmness throughout the aura. There have always been people in the world who remain completely unflustered by external crises like emotional turmoil or human conflict and war. When we're grounded inside ourselves, all of Gaia and our natural rhythmic power are at our disposal. If we have this 50-second gift in our profile, we're such a person. Restraint is not as bad as it sounds. The process of transformation through this 50-second key is one of deep slowing down. And it's also a calming environment for others, both emotionally and mentally. Once we've established calmness, clarity emerges. And whatever situation we're in has an easy and obvious way forward. This is another collective gene key. And its central question is, how can I be of the greatest service to the universe? The gift will demand that of its entire environment, whatever profession we find it in. It's therefore highly attuned ecologically to all natural living systems because it sees and knows how an environment most naturally survives and thrives. Okay, so my notes here, this is part of a generated channel. So it's acting in response, right? Generator strategy, wait to respond. So it's stillness until you are moved to act. You find the right thing that just, it draws you into responding to it. This is the archetype of a meditation teacher. And I actually have a friend with their North Node in Gate 52 who is a meditation teacher. And I already mentioned this, but it's called the Buddha Gate. It really is like that mental image you think of like when somebody's, meditating in a very traditional sense. Now, I want to go back and remind you that this comes from that yang side of the chart that is future focused, right? Taking action once it's thoroughly analyzed information and has turned it into repeatable patterns, which I always think that's really important to kind of like know the flavor that's running through the circuitry flavor of everything. Okay, so it's programming partner. If the sun is in 52 in Cancer, the Earth is automatically opposite in Capricorn, gate 58. And 58 is known as the joyous, the gate of vitality. And this is the pressure. It's again a root gate, the pressure to correct, and perfect to make things better. And this one is like this true love of life, as well as the hope and desire to always squeeze more out of it. 58 wants to contribute to society by making everything better. Again, it's a collective gate. The low expression of 58, it can actually just show up as like a constant dissatisfaction with life, because things are never perfect. That need for bigger, better, more, and pushing yourself too hard to single-handedly make a contribution to society. But the high expression with it is the ability to identify what needs improving and make life more beautiful and vibrant for everyone. It provides this necessary fuel and adrenaline to make the corrections needed to propel humanity forward. So Gate 58 helps encourage others not to just talk about making things better, but actually get up and take some action. Okay, so then the gate that completes the channel partner, is Sagittarius Gate 9, forming the channel of concentration. Gate 9 is known as the taming power of the small, the gate of energy for detail. And this is concentrated energy to establish a pattern. So Gate 9 is known as the gate of focus. And basically the low side of this one is the inability to remain still long enough to focus on what is at hand. If you see Gate 9 by itself in a chart, it has been associated. I'm always very clear. I'm like, this is not a diagnosis. I am not a medical doctor, right? But the theory is that Gate 9 by itself is sometimes a marker for people who have been diagnosed with ADD or ADHD, kind of that's scattered, like you can't, like, this inability to focus. My nephew has this, and he has that diagnosis, and he's a little guy, and it's just so interesting because you're like, wow, among other things that are going on there, and it's like, wow, okay, I really see how that may play out. Anyway, like I said, Gate 9 by itself in the chart can look or feel scattered, essentially going too many directions at once and not slowing down and getting still enough to focus on like the big cohesive picture. And I say big picture again because this is collective energy, right? But the high expression here is really being able to zero in on the important details, channeling your life force into something incredibly powerful and worthwhile. It's the determination to funnel your intention into what you are focused on because, as we know, where your attention goes, energy flows. So 52, when they come together, right, to make the channel of concentration, this is Gate 52, the adrenalized pressure of the root center connecting up to that pure, sustainable life force in the sacral center. So that's two motors connecting. Very powerful. When the two come together to form the channel of concentration, it's about focusing, holding the pose, filling yourself up with that concentrated life force energy and waiting to respond to the pattern that you're willing to devote yourself to and perfect over time. Remember, the full channel on its own is a pure generator. Pure generators, they're meant to be masters of their craft over time. So all about strategy and authority. Basically what I'm saying here is like, if you have the full channel, you have to be either a generator or manifesting generator, depending on what else is going on in your chart. But to have this full channel, your sacral will be defined. So basically, people that have this full channel, they're not scattered people. They're not doing all the things. They typically do not appreciate having too much on their plate at once. Too many tasks, too many projects. That's kind of like that jack of all trades energy. And that is just not the vibe of collective logic circuitry. This is about mastering something to improve the collective. You can't do that when you're here, there, and everywhere. These people are very determined to master and perfect. It doesn't happen overnight, and it definitely doesn't happen without devotion and consistent repetition, refinement, and alignment of that collective logic. What's cool is that people that have this channel, just simply being around them can help others focus. like your presence being there is good for others. Um, like I said, that gate or this channel can be prone to a little bit of, potential depression again, because, or just restlessness, it feels like there's nothing that their authority, that's sacral. Well, I say sacral. You could be an emotional authority as well. But ideally, it's like, your sacral is still going to respond. It's like if you don't feel like the sacral is giving you the green light to something to focus on, again, it's extremely magical to concentrate and channel your energy where you want it to go. Amazing things can happen then. Um, this channel, the channel of concentration, is a format channel. It's format energy. And what that means is that there are 3 channels in the chart. And they're at the bottom. They're the root connecting up to the sacral. Now, again, to get technical here, it's like that means they're essentially, if they were on their own, they're all purely generated, meaning the root connects to the sacral. That would be the authority. This turns someone into a generator. Okay. We're not taking into consideration anything else other than this. So that's a pure generator on its own. And they're like seed energy, the collective logic understanding that we're talking about right now. This is sit still, study, perfect things until you have, the right thing crosses your path, gets you to respond, and moves you forward. On the flip side, the exact opposite, mirror side, that is the collective abstract or sensing circuitry. This is the side that's like, okay, jump into things through response, again, still through response for the lived experience, and then reflect on the past. Like, oh, what did I learn from that? Right? That's a channel of maturation. Mirror image to this. And then in the middle, you have the individual knowing. And that's the mutation that pulses on and off. It's like, I know and then I don't know, but it's responding to whatever's in front of it in the present moment. Okay. So essentially what we have is past, present, and future. And all of these color, like I said, color or flavor every other one of those either individual or collective channels in the chart. Okay. So, like I said, all format channels are purely generated. Why does that matter? Well, what do we know about pure generators? Again, meant to be masters of their craft over time. Okay. Generators, we have the tendency to plateau. It's like we don't think anything's going anywhere. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoop, level up, It's like, but it takes time. It's slow, it's steady. It's the tortoise, not the hare, and the generator has this ability, basically, if they're going to keep showing up if they're doing the thing that they love. They have this intense ability to just like go the distance, right? Just keep doing the thing. If they're satisfied, they go to bed, they recharge, they get up, let's do it again. So I laugh about this because it's like I have one channel in my chart, it's fully unconscious, but it's the channel of exploration. I am a pure generator, right? And I'm like, yep, this is me, just keep on trucking. Like, keep on making that podcast and keep on doing the thing and just keep one foot in front of the other. It's like, and it's because of the love of like the work, truly, even when the results are not in your external reality. And I'm always mentioning Richard Rudd because the gene key's on here, and it's like, guess what? He's a generator. If you've seen the volume and, truly, yeah, just the amount of his work, like when he was like teaching for raw and human design, and then all the gene key stuff, you're like, wow, yeah, this is just like that proof of somebody who's like in it to win it. And I don't really mean win anything. It's like they love their work, It's so cool. So cool. So again, if you have that full channel, you either have to be a generator or manifesting generator. No other type can have the full thing. And this is also an interesting note here, because say you are a manifesting generator with this channel, right? This kind of flies in the face because it's always like, oh, MGs move so fast, and it's like they're all over the place and blah, blah, blah. Well, sure. But the presence of gate 52, or especially the full channel, can dramatically, change that narrative. Um, it can really slow you down in a very wonderful way, help draw your focus and attention to the things that really truly matter. Okay, so astrologically, this is Sagittarius with Cancer, which is a quincunx aspect. And I always say like that one's easiest to describe as like a little bit awkward. The Sagittarius, the gate 9, it wants to act, it wants to go, it wants to move. And the Cancer side is like, no, let me sit here, let me be still, let me be my little safe shell, until the time is right. Okay. So this is also happening in the second quarter of the wheel, which is the quarter of civilization. It's purpose fulfilled through form, turning spirit into form. All right. And then my little esthetician connection. I also have to chalk this up to Josh, Agent RX. He told me recently, he's like, you need to, on the podcast, like say something about how you see this all tying in. And I was like, oh, that's a good point. Because of course, on Instagram, I post every week right along with the podcast when it comes out, my energy tips for the treatment room. But I think it's good to kind of like tie in a little bit of observation or story with this over here, different formats. So, all right, in one of the books, one of the many deeper books on human design, Raw references this channel and talking about like a doctor, and basically it's like, you want the person who's been operating for 20 years to be working on you. It literally says that. And so I was like, yeah, isn't that the truth? It's like, which plastic surgeon or nurse injector or esthetician, like who do you want working on you? Do you want the person who just bopped out of school, yesterday? Or do you want the person who's done it all day, every day for years, aligning and refining and honing their craft? I know and it's so funny because I always said this. I was always like, whatever you do, it's like, I don't want the jack of all trades. I want the person who's like, this is their thing. And they just do it over and over and over and they've perfected it. Now, again, as I was putting this together, I'm like, this is not said to shame people without a lot of collective logic circuitry. It's just to say that some aesthetic professionals, like looking at charts, I can see this. It's like some people are just better cut out for things that maybe are less serious or dangerous or permanent. I was like laughing about that. I'm like, basically, if you wield a scalpel, a syringe, a laser, anything in that neck of the woods, it's like, I sure hope you have plenty of logic circuitry in your chart because, again, that's about the perfection over time and honing your craft. So to give an example, I know two very well-known manifesting generator injectors. That's as much as I'm going to reveal there. Okay. So in the aesthetics field, both of them are like, this is so funny. Actually, I'm visualizing their charts. Okay. So both of them are total, like they have the full integration stuff in their charts. But outside of that, the only other channel that one of them has, okay, so I'm going to speak about one first, has the channel that we're talking about today, the channel of concentration. It's the only other thing that this person has. I almost gave away their gender. The only other thing that they have, and it's so true. It's like they are so focused and calculated how they do everything. It's kind of wild, like for me to have observed. Now, the other one, integration circuitry, same kind of thing. They're both pure manifesting generators. But this one has the channel of maturation. I also mentioned that, but that's not the main one we're talking about today. That's the one though that's like, let's jump in, let's see what happens. We got to write out this cycle, but it's not about perfecting. It's about just like living the experience and stuff that happens in that circuitry. It's like you look back and you make sense of it later, but it's really not about the perfection. And again, just to look at charts that on one hand, hey, there's quite a bit of similarity there. And then you're like, wow, no, there's so much difference in that. One that moves so fast, one that moves like, I don't want to say so slow because it's not that they move slow, but it's like they're concentrated, they're focused. The other one, other people I'm sure would look at them and be like, wow, that has more of that all over the place vibe. So anyway, again, it's just I'm a 4-1 people. I'm a people studier. That's just the way it is. Those are my observations. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. So do you have this in your chart? You're looking down at the very bottom, the root, right-hand side top, 52. If 52 is colored in black, red, or red and black, that means you have it somewhere in your chart. If it's white, you do not have it. But look to the other side, maybe you have the 9. If that one's colored in, then you're going to get the full channel for approximately 6 days. You could be like me. I have 0 in this channel. But I certainly see it. I observe it. I pay attention to it and experience it through the other people in your life and through the transits. Like we're all going to understand that, even if it's not prominent in our own personal narrative. Okay. So, of course, remember to follow me on Instagram at Michaela McLean, because if you're in aesthetics or any sort of adjacent field, massage therapist, acupuncturist, anything like that, that you're working with people and really in close proximity to other people's auras, I think it's very helpful. Check it out. Like I said, I post every week along with the podcast, all kinds of little tips, the frequency to put your music at, a crystal that would be helpful, an essential oil, just the general vibe. It's really super simplified. Okie dokie. All right. I will be back soon with more. If the episode was of value to you, and again, I feel like this is 2 in a row where I'm like, if you could make it through all my flubs and things, bless you. But I would love it if you would leave me a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. This is just going to help the info get out to more people, help it be discovered, and hopefully help more people. If you want to learn more human design, check out my free guide, $11 master classes, the yoga nidras, my golden experience guide course, my I'm like, what all we got going on here? My solo esthetician love, my esoteric education for estheticians over there in the membership. Aesthetic next coming. Like I said, we're gonna have something together with that here really soon. I'm so excited about that. I'm like, this is the thing. This is the thing we all get excited about. Yeah. And there's more. There's so much more coming very soon. Of course, so many projects with Little Fox. So, like I said, follow along at Michaela McLean. Check out the show notes for all the links. And of course, until next time, have a beautiful day.